Hi guys, am I live? Say hello. I'm just checking on my phone. Yes, hi Laura Mazzotta, you are here. Hi guys, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to jump on. Say hello if you get a chance because I want to confirm that the comments are working on Facebook because a lot of times they don't lately. And I wanna make sure that they're working. And that way I can close up my phone and not look back and forth between the two and place my full attention on you guys. So let me know if you're here. Make sure to tag people that you think want to be here today. If they're people who are not in Room for Healing, hi Anne, thank you so much. Good. Now I can shut this sucker down. I love cell phones. I'm super grateful for them. I'm super grateful for technology, but I also do not like being tethered to them. So thank you for the opportunity to be able to just disconnect from yet another device and spend this time with you. So those of you who want to invite people who are not in Room for Healing, you'll just have to share the event link, which is in the event section of this group. Otherwise, you are welcome to, hi Mariah, good to see you. Otherwise, you're welcome to just tag them if they're in Room for Healing and bring them over to experience this. They can also watch it on the replay. This replay will stay in Room for Healing. And you know what? It's probably time for me to organize some of the videos because I used to organize them into the guides section when I was doing a lot of like book studies and separate little series. But these are all kind of one-offs. So I'm going to start organizing them a little bit so that you guys can access them. Hi, Nancy. I'm not coming through. Okay. Is everybody else hearing me? If you guys cannot hear me, please let me know. For those of you who are new to me, my name is Laura Mazzotta. I am an Akashic therapist. That means, hi, Kathy. That means that I have been a therapist for almost 20 years here in New York. I am also an Akashic healer and teacher. You hear me. Good. Thank you. Hi, Diane. Hi, Mom. I got to look up your comment, Mom, and add it to my list here. See, I knew I was going to forget to do that. Laura Mazzotta, recovering from surgery, in a trance. My mother had brilliant insight. Of course, because she's my mother and that's where I get it, right, Mom? She's like, I'll take credit for everything you do that I love. All right, so I'm adding this in and then we're going to get started. Okay, cool. Yay. Okay, I'm so glad you guys can hear me. All right, so I have a few notes here of just, it's funny because I actually started writing a post on this. I was just going to make a post on this and then I was like, screw this. I just want to go talk about it. I want to be able to offer this as an exchange because I love being able to get into conversations. Yes, blessed child. May the joy, would you guys like to know what my mom used to say when I would leave the house or go to bed? May the joy of knowing I am your mother bring you peace. Oh, it's fabulous. I'm totally using that one going forward for myself. So I say that to my clients in like a different way. Oh, but just in jest, it's hysterical. Alexa, yay, I'm so glad you could make it. So anyway, I was really writing a lot about my experience because I just went through gallbladder surgery. And it's so cool how we have these different experiences that come up in our lives that assist us with understanding ourselves at a deeper level. And, you know, I was just telling somebody earlier today too, I literally spend probably 70 to 80% of my time taking care of myself. Like I'm so good at taking care of me and I freaking celebrate it and I love it. And I love that most of my life is just doing what I love and what nourishes me and I enjoy. And it's funny because having the surgical experience has taken me to an even deeper level of being called to nourish and nurture myself, my time, my space, my energy, even more than I already was. And I'll take it. You know, it's funny because when it first comes up, I feel resistance. Hi, Caprice. Yes, I love her too, Anne. I feel resistance at first because it feels like I shouldn't do that. Like I shouldn't need this much time and space for myself. I'm needy, right? Or I need to open up more capacity for patience with myself to take care of myself. That's a main thing that came up over this surgical process too. It's like, all right, like the days, the 6 days were done after surgery, and I was like, all right, let's go. And my body's like, no, 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 right? And of course, we all experience that because we get restless, we get frustrated, we want to get back to the grind. And what's funny is that the grind for me is not at all a grind. It's more of a slow flow because my life is very chill and spacious at this point. But it's really important to be able to bring forward some of the lessons from our physical bodies when we try to understand things at a deeper level, okay? So how many of you here have read The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk? He's freaking amazing. I'm going to type it in the comments. Well, I thought I was, and then my face disappeared. Okay, here we go. The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. He is such a king, and it's a wonderful book about how we hold trauma in our bodies and how it gets stored within us. So that's a great place to begin, right, Mariah? Exactly. It's a fabulous book. So it's a great place to begin if you're starting to understand how the physical body holds on to trauma and experience in general. And I think, in his book, he's talking more about trauma history and how we move through it and transform it and learn from it and all of those lovely things. But it's not just trauma that our body holds on to. Our body holds on to any experience that we have in this lifetime. And what I will also say is that our body doesn't just carry our experience from this lifetime. Our body also carries experience from our ancestors. It carries experience from our previous lives. It carries experience from future versions of ourselves as well. When you open the Akashic records, or you're working in any other realm of consciousness other than the 3D here as humans on this planet that we can see and taste and feel and hear, right? All of those things. When we operate in a different dimension or a different realm of consciousness, hi Marcella, hi Lisa, hi Kelly, you're so welcome. When we operate there, time does not exist in the way that we understand it. Time is truly a human concept that was created to gain some kind of gauge and understanding of how things unfold on our planet, okay? And it's very helpful. It's a very good guide for us. But unfortunately, we get trapped by it, right? And we feel like we're kind of racing against it a lot of the time. When we are in these other dimensions of consciousness, it's almost like experiences are occurring in a spiral, okay? So they're all occurring at the same time. So my past life, my current life, and my future life, according to my soul, are all occurring at the same moment, right? But we understand them as, well, this was my future life and this is my past life, right? But my soul doesn't care when things happened. They're all imprints on that soul's ascension and expansion, okay? So that's why future lives as well can impact how we hold our memories in our physical bodies now. We chose as souls, if any of you have read the Energy Codes by Dr. Sue Morter, she talks about the bus stop and how all the souls are at the bus stop waiting to get on a bus to choose which lifetime they're going to incarnate into. Now, this could be human, it could be animal, it could be on another planet, or it could not be incarnating into a body at all, but just kind of free floating. So the souls make a decision as to which bus to get on. My soul chose this bus. This is my bus. This physical body is my bus. And the other people that got onto that bus with me, we all contracted together. Those are our soul contracts, right? Together. to get on this bus and to experience triggering each other, sharing in experiences, learning from one another. Okay, we all made those decisions collectively, so it's not out of our control to be here in this body experiencing what it is that we need to experience. And the best thing we can do is to really learn more information, more intimate information about, interesting, what is the reason that my soul chose this body, these relationships, this life experience? Like, what purpose is this serving? And we could want to get that information just because we're curious and we're multi-passionate and we love learning. But I personally know that the reason that we need to get this information is so that we have very confident clarity about where we are going in this lifetime and the decisions we are meant to make to be able to fulfill our soul's purpose. And when we do that, life is so much easier. It is so much smoother. And things bother us a lot less, if at all. Okay, and that's what we're working toward, right? We're working toward more ease. We're working toward more freedom. Yes, multidimensional experiences. Thank you, Mariah. Exactly. We want to appreciate that and today we're going to be focusing on the physical body at a few different layers to talk about how it's challenging to be multidimensional beings in a physical body. It is. And so we always have more to learn about how we are meant to, in our unique way, experience this incarnation. Laura Lee, that sounds good. Thank you for stopping in. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Melinda. Good to see you guys. All right, so let's dive into some of this material. And then, as usual, I'm going to ad-lib like crazy from the Akashic Records. Shocker. Okay. So let me tell you my recent story, and then we're going to go from there. I have a couple examples to share with you today just for the sake of understanding. So as you all know, I just got my gallbladder removed about, I guess it was like 10 days ago or so. Look at me. Am I such a champ? I'm doing great. Anyway, I'm celebrating myself today. So, so this whole thing is fascinating to me, that I had an organ removed from my body. How many of you have had this? Just give me a wave in the comments. So this concept is really interesting because as soon as it was removed, and this is not because I was in, horrible pain prior to, I'm sure that was part of it, but I felt such a lightness of being after this organ was removed. And I know that some of this was my physical experience, the relief of pain, in addition to just, I think the knowing that the level of relief that I'm going to continue to feel is going to unfold over time and show me how much lightness I actually have within me. But it's interesting because I do personally feel that if I had found this path of spirituality, or to be honest with you, even just energy work, way earlier in my life, like when I was young, I think that I could have prevented this from occurring. And I believe that we all can, because as you know, we are all energetic beings. Okay? See, thank you, Diane. The organ is gone, but the energy from it is still there. That's a very beautiful point as well. And I'm actually going to copy that and put it in my notes to touch base on that piece later. And Anita, I see that you mentioned too a tumor removed, which isn't an organ, right? But the tumor is really fascinating to me too. So I'll bring that up as well. Yeah, Kathy, you and I are missing gallbladder twins. So rocking it like a boss. Thanks, Melinda. So yeah, so this is the thing. If physical matter is made up of atoms and molecules that are always moving, this pen, this chapstick, my cup, my shirt, my dress, all of it. It's all vibrating. It's always moving. Nothing is ever truly stagnant on this planet. Absolutely nothing in the universe is ever stagnant. Okay, our souls certainly aren't. And so when we view it that way, that means that absolutely every single thing that we interact with in this lifetime is malleable, is changeable, is transformable. Okay. And our physical bodies are no exception. And so if I had known the nuances of energy to be able to tune into these tiny little shifts within my experience, not only as I am eating, processing, eliminating, not just focusing on my digestive system, but also just focusing on the messages that I'm getting from my body and my emotions and the feedback that I'm getting from the universe and the environment, I would have taken steps or measures to be preventive, right? Because once we have things in our awareness, we have the ability to do something about it. Then it's now our responsibility. Previously in life, I could kick myself and say, well, you know what? I can't believe I didn't have this level of awareness 30, 40 years ago when I could have been preventive about this. No, there's instant forgiveness, realizing the decisions and actions, etc., that were made when you were not at an open level of awareness. But then once it's in our awareness, that then becomes our responsibility, right? And not in a pressured way, but in a way that makes us feel empowered. Great, now I have awareness of this, I can do something with it, right? I can either plant it as a seed, nurture it, and let it grow slowly. I can kick it into action quickly, depending on what it is, okay? So, just checking on the comments for a second. All right. So I had this gallbladder removed. And what's interesting is that the symptoms that I was having prior to getting it removed were very similar to symptoms that have also been experienced by other people in my family. But they didn't have a gallbladder issue, or they didn't know they had a gallbladder issue, right? So I know that a very core part of my personal mission is to heal and clear my ancestry, right? Including those who come after me. I've known this from my certification in the Akashic Records for years. I've known this. And there's been different layers at which I've been releasing this, and I truly feel like this is the theme that I'm going to be continue working with and through and collaborating with through this lifetime. And I embrace it. I love it because it's immensely empowering to know the level of impact that I'm having for myself, for my children, and for those who have gone before me that may not have had that level of awareness. Okay. So much of my ancestral work has been handled energetically, right? I go into the records. I'm a Reiki Master. I use Reiki. I use the emotion code. I use chanting. I could talk for hours about all of the different modalities that I use to assist dense energy with moving through my field. And I'm able to ask, is this mine to carry or is it not mine to carry? Am I meant to release this and be able to move to the next level? Okay. But what's interesting here is that this is something that came on very quickly and left my body very quickly. My goal was to prevent having the gallbladder removed. And so I did a lot of energy work around this. And it became very, very clear, not only in my own energy work, but in energy work that I did with other people that I collaborate and work with who were giving me feedback when they would tune into my field, that this organ needed to go. It needed to go. And it's really interesting to me because you think about it and I'm like, okay, I wanted to prevent the surgery because I firmly believe in the ability to shift the physical body. And I know that we can. But I also know that I believe very firmly that there was a density within this area of my body that for my healing needed to be removed. We talk about shifting energy, staying ahead of it. Hi, Joy. So good to see you. I know, right? I'm such a big girl coming back on Facebook. Yeah, the nuances of energy, exactly. So I I love being preventive. That's one of my big things, right? I'm advocating for that. That's my goal, is to help people with preventing chronic illness. Okay? That's my long-term goal, is to create a charity for people with chronic illness, for energy, to be able to have access to alternative forms of healing. So in the meantime, I'm teaching you guys this because I think we all need to be educated at younger and younger ages about energy and how it works with our experience, our interactions with people, and how we take care of our bodies. Okay? So we work with the thoughts. We talk about those tools all the time. We work with the energy. We talk about those tools. But what about working with the physical body? And there's so many different ways to do this. You know, it's a feedback loop between the physical body and ourselves. For me, I firmly believe that this step in my healing, to remove my gallbladder, to remove this density, I think was necessary for me to be able to move forward. And there's a couple reasons for that. There's a couple lessons in that for me that I've excavated that have been super deep and super helpful. But one of the key things that I want you guys to take away from today is that even though I think, yes, I can change my physical body, I can change this experience, I want to prevent this, doesn't mean that's what's meant for me, right? Doesn't mean that's what's meant for me. The universe surprises us all the time. And the good thing is that if you're truly surrendering and truly trusting and having faith in the universe, and that it has a greater plan, and that it has a plan that you can't necessarily see yet, then you're going to trust that if you need something removed, and the universe keeps showing you that through signs, even if you don't want it and you don't think it was on your path, that it is something you need to, that's an opportunity for you to learn more. So for me, I was just like, oh, you know, I could have said, well, shit, I couldn't shift this, right? Instead, I was like, interesting that this was so rooted in density and dis-ease. And I'm telling you, I literally felt my ancestors' energy physically present within my body. It's very clear to me that it was meant to be physically removed to shift my energy. So that's an interesting thing to think about, right? Like, scientists have done so many studies on how smiling can make us happy and shift our emotional state. How using our physical body, using biofeedback, right? Using our physical body to shift our emotional experience and even our energetic experience is extremely powerful. So it's not just that, oh, I want to feel better, so I'm going to go exercise, right? It's not just that, but it's also feel better so that you are motivated to go exercise. So they speak to one another, okay? They speak to one another. And so for me, when one way of doing energy work is to get surgery, is to go bust your ass at the gym if that's something that you're being called to. I haven't been called there yet. Maybe that's something that the universe is going to surprise me with. Yes, Mariah, yes. And you and I have so much talking to do about autoimmune stuff too. Oh my goodness. Because I think that a lot of times, I know that in the spiritual world, we get so focused on energy. We get so focused on emotion. We get so focused on shifting limiting beliefs. And it doesn't mean that we're not honoring our physical body, but we have to listen to the messages that are coming forward and realize that, guess what? That is also energy communicating with us. My body was communicating with me, yes, but also, yes, exactly, Mom. Release the control through trust to what must be inevitable. I 100% know that I was meant to have this organ removed, that I am not meant to have it. And I have to be honest with you, I don't even feel like it was mine. I don't even feel like it belonged to me. I feel like it was a mix of my father's energy, his brother's energy, his father's energy. I think that this went back. I think they were telling me like 7 to 9 generations on my paternal side of the family. And I know that there's issues on my mother's side of the family too with the gallbladder. But again, we're not looking at biology necessarily. We're looking at ancestral energy. Okay, now biology is a reflection of our ancestral energy and how this mounts over time. But think about our inner child. FYI, little plug here, doing an inner child workshop for free on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I will include the link here for you guys. Sign up, because this is going to be, talk about like grounding and feeling safe in your physical body and really nurturing and comforting your nervous system so that you can do healing work. That's what we're going to be doing on Saturday, and it's just freaking amazing. Anyway, but think about your inner child. Your inner child, that's the energetic part of us that carries the wounds for us, right? So if we feel triggered by something, or we're reacting like with rage or with anxiety or with this snap judgment. Thank you so much for sharing that, Cassidy. You know, like if we're reacting like that, or we're getting pissy, we know that's our inner child having a tantrum. And this is not just with the tantrums that we're responding to that happen in this lifetime, but it's also, the inner child is a compilation of experiences from our ancestors that haven't fully been resolved, and those energetic codes have been sent forward. This has been shown scientifically. There are at least 3 generations these things are passed down from our ancestors. Okay? Multiple studies, especially with Holocaust survivors. Okay? And so that gets carried down, and past lives that we've experienced where we haven't fully resolved something. It's interesting because I had a past life where I died of lymphoma, which is fascinating to me because I have a lymph node on this side that swells a lot, right? And I need to clear it. I need to take care of my lymph system. I get lymph massages on a regular basis, etc. Right? And so it's still showing up in my lifetime to help give me information, but I'm meant to clear it and use it and respond to it and engage with it in a way that is an upgrade from my previous lifetime. So let me throw this out there. I have been diagnosed with CVID, which is common variable immunodeficiency, autonomic neuropathy, which I don't believe, by the way, and an autoimmune disease. I could say, which is what I've been focusing on doing, right? I am focusing all of my energy on my physical body so that I can be healthy. What if I'm not meant to be operating at a state of wellness that I desire? What if it's extreme progress and immense healing for me to show up in this lifetime having a low-level chronic illness that I manage, that I embrace, that I love as part of me, as part of my experience, and being able to live a very long, fulfilling, happy, joy-filled, free life is an absolutely gigantic upgrade for my ancestral line. What do you guys think about that? And that's not something I'm ever gonna, because I mean, I'm like the queen of thinking outside of the box and knowing about infinite possibility. I believe in infinite possibility, 100%. But infinite possibility looks different for each person in terms of how that's carried out and how that presents in the 3D, how that presents in this experience. So when I fully trust and I fully accept and I fully allow the universe to be my guide, I appreciate, I enfold, is that even a word? I made it up, maybe, but I really like it. I enfold, yes, radical acceptance. I fold all of that into me and say, I embrace it all. You know what? I'm meant for what I am meant for. And that doesn't mean, and I'm still going to take, I still have free will. I'm still going to take action in my life based on how the universe communicates with me, how my energy communicates with me. I'm going to respond to that, right? I'm not going to take action based on, well, this is my goal. I have to get better. This is how I have to feel. In order to be a successful energy worker, this is how I have to feel. This is what it needs to look like. That's me being a bit of a dictator with the universe, in my opinion. Instead, it's what's next? Every day I wake up, ooh, what's today hold? What's exciting? What can I move? What am I meant for? To be able to move toward fulfilling my true purpose. I just did a live, I think it's posted on my Instagram, my IGTV, on how do you truly, truly know that you're fulfilling your purpose or something? Something like that. How do you truly know that you're fulfilling your true purpose? And what I was saying, oh, that's on Cosmic TV too, so you guys can find it on both spots and on my YouTube. But I was saying that, truly following your true purpose is not setting an agenda. Oh, thank you, Cassidy. I love you. Yay! That's going to be my new favorite word, enfold. Nefarious was my old favorite word. I learned that actually when I was studying for the GRE for grad school. Nefarious. Oh, one of my favorite words. Still makes me so happy. But anyway, when we're truly following our true purpose, we don't have an agenda. We don't say, okay, this is where I'm going. Thanks for sharing that link, honey. Where am I going? And then these are the steps that I need to commit to get there. Instead, every single freaking day, you wake up and you connect. And you ask, how am I best meant to serve my true purpose today? And you follow that guidance. And it may seem disjointed, and it may not make sense. And that's the part that's confusing for humans. And that's why a lot of people don't do it, or shy away, or have resistance or avoidance. Okay, so let me jump back to my notes here. Okay, so obviously you can use our physical bodies to shift and communicate with our energetic experience through breathing, through exercise, through chanting, etc. But I want all of you who have had something removed from your body, some entity removed from your body, to get curious about it. Would love for you to open your Akashic records or go into transcendental meditation and really connect with that part of you, because it has been a part of you. And physical energy, our physical bodies, it's the densest energy that we can come across. So that's why I always talk about prevention, starting with working with energy, then working with thoughts, then working with emotions, then working with your body. So if I have something physically removed from my physical body, this dense energy removed from my physical body, talk about enormous levels of energy work. And guess what? When the energy of our bodies shift like that, we need to give ourselves integration time. And this is integration time that is way beyond what we're used to. And it's not just healing time. It's not like, oh, I need to heal from this surgery, right? That's not just what it is. It's also, hold on, I jotted down some notes on this that I thought were really, the way that it came through from the Akash was really helpful. Yeah, so, yeah. When you're shifting the energy in its densest form on a physical level like this, and you're actually removing a portion of your energy, you talk about the need to really be gentle and nourish and nurture ourselves, right? Because our adjustment physically is going to be immensely powerful. We're going to feel it more powerfully because it's something tangible that was removed. But talk about the amount of energy. Like when we talk about gases, right? That energy is very dispersed. So that energy is, flying around, and there's a lot of space in between, and there's a lot of free flowing. And we talk about physical energy, and it's super condensed. So you're taking more atoms and molecules and you're smashing them together into an organ. So when you remove that, think about the amount of condensed energy that is leaving my body when something's removed versus if I'm breathing and sending this dispersed energy that's mostly full of space. The amount of energy that's been removed from me is so much more significant. And so my adjustment requires an enormous amount of love and TLC in that area in particular, but also for my whole energy field to adjust because it's all connected. It's all a web. There's a tissue system that connects our entire body. Every single cell has tissue surrounding it, and 70% of it is made of fluid. And so when we have something removed from us, that tissue shifts, just like Diane was talking about, right? Diane was talking about the organ is gone, but the energy from it is still there because that organ was also sharing its energy field with other organs, with tissue, with your bloodstream, right? With other energy within your body. So that area still has some adjustment to do and may still be carrying some remnants energetically of what was removed or the dis-ease that was living there. So it's still important for us to connect to that area of ourselves and gather information about how it's been impacted and serve it. Cassidy, I love you so much. Mom, look at you. You're just kicking ass and taking names. Maybe you need to start going live with me and joining me in my business, you little intuitive queen. Is it not a morning and may take some time? Exactly. Thank you. Exactly. And that's the emotional piece that I'm going to get to in a minute too. Yes, we do want to mourn that part of us, but we're not just mourning, oh, I'm sad about my gallbladder. Got to be honest, wasn't really attached to it. Was definitely not attached to my gallbladder. But yes, what I am mourning the loss of is having a piece of my ancestry physically within me. So it's being able to connect with my ancestors, collaborating with them. Wow, look at this experience we just shifted for all of us. Look at this new information that has come forward for all of us. Because what does the gallbladder represent? The gallbladder represents hard thoughts, anger, resentment, irritability, right? I can tell you I got a lot of that in my family line. I got a lot of that. And I embodied that a lot. I embodied that a lot. I don't anymore. Doesn't mean I never get irritated, but it's pretty rare, to be honest with you. Really doesn't happen that much. And most of the time I get irritated with myself more than anybody else, or technology. Come on, let's get real. But is it possible to have gallstone attacks years after it's been removed? Yes. I mean, you're not obviously experiencing gallstones themselves, but there's a couple things. I mean, biologically, you can have some leakage, some bile leakage within the area that can give you symptoms that resemble gallstone attacks. And if there's a lot of it, which typically there's not, but if there's a lot of it, then yes, they can form stones. But it's more similar to what Diane was talking about, which is that there is memory held within our bodies, like I was talking about earlier. Every single time we have an experience, and my mother said this beautifully when she posted this in the event, the body is a monument to the past. It remembers everything. Exactly. And I love the fact that she used the word monument too, because we need to honor our bodies as a monument. It is truly a sacred vessel that's carrying our souls through this lifetime. And we need to revere it. We need to nourish it as if we are, laying nectar at the feet of the gods, right? And that's how we need to treat our physical bodies, seriously, because they are our energy. They are our future, our past, our current, okay? And so, and that's why I think it's also really important for us to learn about our biology as well, and to learn about the inner workings of our biology, because that is another layer of our experience. And I think one that a lot of us overlook, and unfortunately we shy away from that because we think, oh, we have these beliefs about the medical field or things like that. But guess what? The more you learn about the inner workings of the systems of your body, the more educated you are about, like, I think somebody wrote this earlier. Hold on. Yeah, Joy. My experience was blockage in the common duct causing bile to back up into my liver and pancreas. That's what happens to me too. I had pancreatitis, hepatitis, and yellow jaundice. Yes, exactly. So that's what I was going to say. It's like, it's important to identify, not only how does this operate within me, but how does it communicate with other areas of my body and my tissue, right? There are relationships and shenanigans going on inside our body all the freaking time that we don't have conscious awareness of unless we pay attention to it. And so we can go on these kinds of excursions in the Akashic Records. We can do these in meditation. We can do these by reading a science book, right? Because my duct did not connect normally. It like wrapped around organs and my pancreas and shit and then went in the wrong way into my small intestine. And it was an anatomically, quote unquote, incorrect, which it's not really incorrect, but incorrect configuration. So you can say, well, I can read a science textbook, but that's not going to give you everything you need. It's also just saying, like, what do you need right now? Like, what do you need right now to be able to communicate more effectively with my liver? What do you need right now to be able to contribute in the way that you need to my body? How can I make your life easier, right? So it's having that kind of communication with our physical bodies and creating a relationship with it. Realizing that our bodies carry a hell of a lot more wisdom than our minds do. And so when we truly see it as a monument, when we truly see it as this divine orchestration and compilation of energy just for our unique experience, wow. Wow. Doesn't that make us take care of ourselves in a different way? Doesn't that make us view ourselves in a different light? And how empowering is that, right? Okay, so let me see what else I wanted to say here. Okay, so Anita had mentioned a tumor, which I think is fascinating. I love you, Joy. You are such a wealth of information. And it's always so powerful. So thank you so much for being part of this community. So anyway, tumor. So Anita brought up a tumor. So my belief is that a tumor is something that is either, well, first of all, it's energy that no longer serves us either way. I think that it's a sign of gathering a lot of debris energetically from other people or from the environment that collects within us, but doesn't necessarily have a place to reside, right? It doesn't have an organ. It doesn't. So it's just kind of like hanging out there in this empty space. Because most of our bodies are space. There's a lot of space in there, which means there's a lot of room to move shit around, guys. So when you are, hold on, I lost my train of thought. I always do this. You guys used to this by now? Let me just tune in again and see what they're bringing forward. Yeah. So the tumor is really about a collection of debris. So this debris could be what we're bringing for, what we're collecting, kind of, right? Or it could be a collection of ancestral energy or of past life energy. Although I don't really see that as much, just because maybe ancestral but not past life, because that's a little bit too intimate. Like that's a little bit too intimate. And I would assume that that would take place more in a significant system of the body or organ in the body. But when we're talking about ancestry, it kind of depends, because they're, you know, our ancestry, it's not as intimate as past lives. So you can have some scattered energy or energy that's more at a distance, right, than past life work. So it is still very possible that some of that is accumulated ancestral energy too. But either way, it's energy that no longer serves us. That is not one that is meant to be integrated and worked with. Can you dissolve it? Yeah, absolutely. You can dissolve that through energy work and be able to release that 100%. But it's all about when you catch it too. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think that if I had noticed some of these things when I was young and had some of this information, I probably would have been like, that's stupid, and like resisted it. Who knows? But if I was open to it, let's say, when I was younger, I do believe that I could have taken a lot more preventive measures and communication and love with my body and honor of my body to be able to move some of this energy in a direction that may have ended up differently for me, you know. But I don't have any regret about that or anything, because I was meant to make the decisions I was meant to in this lifetime to be where I am now. So, so this is the other thing that came forward. This is the thing that I wrote earlier that I thought was powerful from the Akash. But, you know, a big piece of this, my friends, is releasing attachment to the outcome, right? Bringing greater awareness of human beings being energetic beings, right? To prevent disease. And the more of us that can really embody and embrace that, and I ask you too, you know, how much do you trust that? How much do you believe in that? Because you want your faith to be unwavering in the fact that we are energetic beings and that you have the power to shift. And that means that as you take action steps, this is the important part, that as you take action steps forward to be able to really embody that this is what you believe, you're going to start seeing the changes in your life and the lives of those around you. Because we are here to bring these energetic and spiritual principles into the human. We are here, those of us who are light workers, those of us who are intuitive and receiving messages from the universe, we are meant to bring forward this wisdom and integrate it into the human, whether that means our physical bodies or in our surroundings or in our relationships. We are always integrating infinite universal intelligence and healing in real time, every single moment of every single day, which is why action on what's coming forward for us is so important on a daily basis, on a regular basis, right? To be able to realize that this intelligence that comes forward from our bodies, from our intuition, from our emotions, right, is absolutely fueling our planet and our experience. And so it's very important. And this is the hard part. A lot of people get this stuff and they feel really good in the moment, but then they leave it. They don't integrate it. They don't take the time to bring it into, to have it come to pass in their day-to-day life, right? And that's why working with the physical body is a great way to bring this into our reality, okay? So taking action on your belief and using your physical body to do that is a key piece of this. So the only other thing I'm going to talk about today is emotion, okay? So this is the other experience that I had. So July 21st is the anniversary of my father's passing. And on July 20th, I was crying all day. Literally just crying all day. Like sobbing. And my father passed, I think it's 7 years ago. A little over 7 years ago now. And I don't always have the same reaction on the anniversary. The first few were obviously harder. But one thing that has been consistent is that the way that I grieve, and everybody grieves differently, but the way that I grieve and the way that I process grief is I feel anxious and a little irritable, more tired, usually anywhere from a few days to a few weeks prior to the anniversary. And then on the anniversary on, I'm totally fine. Totally chill. So this year, I didn't think about it. Like, it came into my mind once on like the 17th, I think. And I was like, oh yeah, that's in a few days. That's crazy. And that was it. It was like a fleeting thought. Never came into my mind again. And then the 20th, I cried all day long. And I was like, WTF? Like, what is going on here? And I had obviously had my surgery already. And I know that my father's energy was tied to that as well. And so I know that part of this was a grieving of some of that ancestral energy. But I was like focusing on how upset I was that I couldn't eat certain things. And I was like having a tantrum. And I was like, why am I so fucking emotional? And then the next day I woke up and I realized that it was my father's anniversary. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. So this is another example, my friends, of how we can have no conscious awareness. Even somebody like me, who's incredibly self-aware, who operates at a level of extreme depth when it comes to working in the Akashic records, when it comes to healing my physical body, my emotional body, my cognitive body, everything. And I could not for the life of me, the day before, figure out what was going on. Now, granted, part of me was using my brain, which isn't going to be helpful. Tuning in is going to be more helpful. But I was like, right? Yes, exactly, Mariah. Your body remembers anniversaries more than your brain. 100% true. If you had an amazing time at Disney World and you fly over Disney World to go down to, I don't know, somewhere else, the Dominican Republic, let's say, and you fly over it, and all of a sudden you just get this, oh, I'm so excited, right? You might not have any idea why you're so excited. Your body remembers location. Your body remembers the memory associated with the emotion. And that's what we do in trauma work, right? In trauma work, we separate the memory from the emotional experience so that you can keep the memory, but it no longer has that jarring effect of the same emotion that you would feel during the trauma, right? And this is the same for any experience we have. Every experience we have is recorded within our physical bodies. Every single thing, every word you say, every interaction you have. And you know what's so freaking cool about all of it is it's also all written into our Akashic record. And we have the ability to influence and impact the writing of our consciousness, the writing of our Akashic record, the morphing and the tweaking and the flow of our Akashic record. They're working with us in the Akashic records, which is so freaking cool, right? They're not dictating and saying this is how it has to be. We're working together. So it's just really, really cool to be able to realize how much these cues are working for us, realize how much our emotions are working for us, how much our bodies are working for us. And we know that, but I think it's so awesome how we can really understand this concept of like, if I have a hangnail and I pick it off, which I do from time to time, although I'm getting better about it. But if I pick off a hangnail, that is a physically dense vibration that is part of my body that is now removed. So how does that impact me? What does that represent? You don't have to analyze everything. You're going to be freaking tired if you do, right? If you get nothing else from this, it's heightening your awareness in realizing how much these cues and how much our bodies are working for ourselves. And that when we do this and realize and know and fully believe that our bodies and our emotions are fully showing up 100% for our highest good, working in our highest favor, we are going to treat ourselves very differently. We are going to nourish ourselves at a level that carries significantly more depth and sincerity than we have before. And that's a key term, sincerity. Take your body seriously. Take your emotions seriously. They're all here for you. They're providing an act of service for you. Yeah, Mariah, you get stuck in your mind. You're not going to get answers. You're not going to get answers. You're just going to get more chasing your tail, which can be very fun if you're a puppy, like my puppy. But Joy, I totally understand your grief experience. Teary in July for my husband, father, and brother's passing. Yeah, and everybody grieves differently. And sending you love and Reiki too, Joy. You know, just as you integrate that shift, because it is a shift. Every single anniversary is a shift. So funny, friends. I had sepsis August 3rd of 2016. That's when I got sepsis. Another fascinating thing is that, you know, I saw so many freaking specialists, got so many tests done and interventions and you name it. No matter what, every August into September, I would be very fatigued and sick and for a good, I'd say realistically, anywhere from like 3 to 6 weeks over the past 5 years. And it finally dawned on me, I think on year 3, of going through this, so a couple years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, my body remembers. My body was having a trauma response to the sepsis, because it's the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to my physical body. It's ever happened to me. And so my body was remembering it. So they weren't new symptoms. It wasn't that I was getting worse. It wasn't that I was regressing. It was that when my body was saying, I'm crying, I'm grieving, I'm remembering this anniversary. I need extra love. I need extra space. I need extra opportunity to be able to release, to be able to be taken care of and nourished and nurtured. And I'm telling you, when you're somebody who has had a history of trauma, a history of, whether it's you or it's existed in your family line, even if it wasn't you that experienced it, I promise you that you need consistent inner child work. And when I can say consistent, you could do it once every 6 months. It doesn't have to be every day, right? Or every week, but for that matter. In fact, I don't encourage that because it's deep work and it's going to make you a little wonky if you do it that often. You need inner child work, and you need to show up for yourself every single day as the most loving, nourishing, patient parent. There is nothing that will heal you more deeply. And I know a lot of us want the quick fix. We either want the pill, a lot of people want that, right? Or you want the magical modality that's going to take it away overnight. It's not going to happen. And I don't want that to happen to you because, again, we have so much density that's carried within our physical body that's compiled over time. We don't want it to go away like that because we're going to be like, woo, right? That's why something like getting a physical part of you removed in any shape or form is going to take longer integration time at every layer, cognitively, energetically, emotionally, and physically. Whenever something happens in the physical, it occurs at all of the layers. And you need to attend to all of them, have them be part of your process, have them be part of your grief, have them be part of your enfolding of your whole experience to write your story. So let me know what questions you guys have about any of this. Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for being here. I find that for me, like I said earlier, I have that tantrum or that resistance come forward when I realize that I need to take care of myself at an even greater depth. And it doesn't mean that I don't want to, but it means that I need to process, what does it feel like? What is it like? How do I embody this? You know, like, how do I embody and accept and fully appreciate that I am actually meant to take care of myself more and more and more and more as time goes on. And that what's funny is that as I do that, it's not because, oh, I'm getting worse and so I need to do that. It's because I'm getting better. And that when I then feel better and start to do more, it's like, no, you stay where you're meant to be, which is having all of this freedom, having all of this opportunity to completely devote myself to myself. There is truly nothing more healing and nothing deeper and nothing more long lasting than you loving yourself at that level of depth, like you're taking care of and nourishing a newborn infant every single day for the rest of your life. And if that's what you need to do to show up and heal, then do it. And that might feel exhausting. And if it feels exhausting, we have some work to do, right? We have some work to do around accepting that, around embracing that, around loving yourself. Loving yourself. Joshua, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I miss you so much. I almost texted you or messaged you the other day. was driving earlier, but wanted to ask. So it depends, Joshua. So he's asking, with the body storing emotions, does it for all of your past lives and future only, or all family? So I'm trying to think of how to say this in human words. I was just talking to somebody about this earlier. It can be so challenging to express Akashic concepts in human language because I feel them. Like I feel them in my body. Like my downloads are not coming through in English. So, all right, let me just, this is what they're saying. Okay. I'm going to explain it this way. So you have an energetic blueprint. I have an energetic blueprint. I love to say we're all snowflakes, right? Like all of us are freaking different, okay? We're all unique. So here's your unique energetic blueprint. And here's the blueprint of your ancestors. Now, your unique energetic blueprint is going to be the same as your past lives energetic blueprint, right? Because it's still you. It's still your soul, okay? So it's the same blueprint. You have your ancestors. And so it's like, how do they overlay with your blueprint? How do they overlay with that? And does that overlay assist you with moving forward in fulfilling your soul's purpose? If so, then that ancestor's overlay is going to show up in your body's storage. Does that make sense? The past lives and future lives of your ancestors or of your ancestors are automatically carried within them in their energetic blueprint. So it's basically up to the universe to decide, to the Akash to decide, does this blueprint, imprinted and overlaid with Joshua's blueprint, assist him with achieving his highest good and the highest good for the collective? And if so, then you will store it. Does that make sense? If it's something that doesn't serve you, it still may build up because there's a lesson you need to learn, at which point when it's released in one way, shape, or form, that lesson is going to come into your awareness, and then it doesn't need to be there anymore. Does that make sense? And does that answer your question? Let me know if that answers your question. I hope I'm reading it right for you. You're very welcome. Barbara, I hear you, honey. I hear you. I've been exhausted many times before. And every single time I'm exhausted, Barbara, if you haven't signed up for the Inner Child Workshop, the Held link, which Cassidy shared earlier, it's pinned. It's actually a comment that's pinned. I really encourage you to do that because I find that when I get exhausted, it's my inner child having a tantrum. That's really what it is. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, where are you not wanting to embrace your own care? Like if you had a sick child or a sick animal, you would pour so much love and you'd be by that kid's side or by that pet's side day and night, assisting them with moving through it. We need to sit by our own side day and night. Joshua, do you think the clearing of ancestral energy, I love your question. See, this is why I miss you so much. Well, I miss you for other reasons too, but the clearing of ancestral energy caused it to be stored in the gallbladder and removed. Yes, that's what I was actually saying earlier today, 100%. I actually don't think that I actually think that if what I wanted came to pass, which is not to remove it and to continue kind of integrating it and having it work with my body, it would have been forced. I would have been forcing it to work with my body in a way that it was not meant to, right? And forceful energy never works, right? And so that's the thing, guys. Like when you attach to an agenda and you're like, no, I'm not going to take this medication. And trust me, I am a huge advocate for not taking medication. Huge. I avoid it as much as I can. Okay. But, you know, if it's truly in your highest good and you're just like, no, 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 you know, you're forcing something that's not natural. Allow the Akash, allow the universe to tell you what's natural for your soul. It may be something that you don't want or that doesn't make sense to you in this lifetime, but when you're truly surrendering, you're allowing whatever is meant to unfold to unfold. Let me just read that question again, Joshua. I want to make sure I'm answering you correctly. That's interesting. Okay, now it's making sense. So since I was clearing the ancestral energy, it was then stored in the gallbladder, and then it had to be removed. That's fascinating. I love that concept. I love you so much. That's brilliant. Right? Because if I'm clearing all of this ancestral energy within my line, and I would say not appropriately releasing it, or I just did so much that, like, you know, at one time, or it built on itself and then kind of collected in that area. Let me tune into that for a second. That's interesting, because it's like it could be that it was a receptacle for kind of gathering all of this old ancestral energy. And it was the way, and it's so dense, because I do know that a lot of the ancestral energy that's meant to be released is very dense. I know it's dense energy in my line. So yeah, I love that concept. That's actually pretty cool, Joshua. Thank you so much for bringing that forward. Yeah, residual energy not properly or able to be processed or released. Yeah, I really, really love that. That's freaking cool as hell, man. Thanks for bringing that forward. Yeah, it built up over time. Really cool. I'm going to meditate on that more, actually. I need more time with that one. I love that concept. Sherry, does this apply to pregnancy and loss? So, no. I'm going to say no on that one. You guys can weigh in on this, and then I have to sign off. But hold on, let me just make sure. Okay. This is how I see it with pregnancy and loss. As I was talking about at the beginning here, we were talking about how at the bus stop, our souls make a decision to enter into our bodies and to have the experiences that we have. So in the same vein, a soul chooses to enter a person's body as a pregnancy. And when it enters and it gets, and that pregnancy results in a loss, that was that soul's contract. Like, that soul signed up for a quick transit through this incarnation. There was a purpose there that was fueled by the soul. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't impact, obviously, the person who's carrying the pregnancy and losing the pregnancy. And there are lessons within that for that person as well. But it's not the same in terms of like physical density that's being compiled and then being released. That's more of a soul's journey passing through your vessel. Does that make sense? Let me know if that answers your question. Okay, last question, Kimberly. May I ask, I have just done my Reiki Master and I am now teaching. Congratulations! I just got my Reiki Master not long ago too. I feel already comfortable after one student. Woohoo! Is it possible my body, mind, and spirit was a spirit? Oh, absolutely. 100%. Guaranteed. If you are drawn to being a Reiki Master or to doing higher level energy work in this lifetime, for sure, you had an intuitive or spiritual or medicine woman or shamanistic experience in a previous lifetime, for sure. Or were like the head of your community, you know, and were really like very maternal for your community. And so you did a lot of healing work, even if it was just through like nourishing people through food, right? So yeah, absolutely. All right, friends. So I am so grateful that you guys are here today. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to chat about this. Thank you for being part of this, for going back and forth with me, for sharing, for asking brilliant questions. And I really, really encourage all of you to come to the free masterclass on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be in a private Facebook group, so you do need to register through the link that is pinned here in this video. It's called Held. I'm going to be running it with Daisy Farrell. She's a psychic medium and healer. And we are going to be very, very powerfully connecting with the inner child, with allowing you to feel held, with allowing you to feel grounded and safe and comforted, so that the healing work that you do and the next steps you do take are being taken from a place of safety and comfort and confidence and resilience. Okay, so I definitely encourage you to sign up for that. Also, right now, I currently have my 40-minute Akashic session at a reduced rate. Typically, it's $377 for 40 minutes. But this, right now, it is at $297. So if you have been eager to connect one-on-one, please feel free to reach out. I will actually add the link. Cassidy, I don't know if you have, I don't think you have that one. So I will add that link in the comments here so that you guys can sign up for that if you feel drawn. And otherwise, please feel free to reach out if you have questions about this. If you want to dive more deeply into your physical healing, into your emotional healing, and have somebody hold you while you work through these things and offer you perspective, it's when we're moving this denser energy that it's really, really helpful and productive to have someone else do it with us or facilitate it for us, because it's very tender, it's very intimate, and it's very loving to ourselves to allow ourselves to be held by someone else as we move through these times. So just reach out, send me a message on Messenger. We can talk about what you're looking for. We can talk about what aligns for you. And I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful night. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.